All right. Let's get to some Rippazine. I'm not going to show you. I don't want to get flagged, and I don't want to take the time to actually scan this shit in. But we got Salvage. So the first thing, we're greeted with our Rippazine. You open up your Rippazine, you're greeted with a letter from the editor. It's an entire page written by N.D. Andrew, which I don't want to read. So I skipped that. I don't give a fuck what Andrew has to say.
Should have NDA'd himself so we didn't have to read anything.
Yeah. Then we get the credits page for the Rippazine. We get a nice table of contents, which is good. And now, this is the saddest part of the book, guys. I read this thing. So we get a artist corner, okay? And it is so fucking sad, okay? And it's so sad that for whatever reason, in the table of contents, Eric July, Andrew Rodriguez, why are you fucking started? Okay, a table of contents goes from the first page to the last page. First page to the last page. So they have the table of contents. They have the Salvage story, which is on page 8. The Florespark Gazette, which is page 32 for Bloodruth Horoscope. 34 for Lillian's Hot Tea. 36 for Michael's Gentleman's Club. 38 for Harriet's Kitchen. Guys, there's a recipe in this book. 39 for the Merc Mixology. Then we get a character spotlight on page 41 of Eltona Daniels. Then the artist corner. Okay, so what I just told you, page 41 was the character spotlight for Eltona. The artist corner. What page do you think that's on?
It'd be 43, 44, 45, like
page 4.
What?
Then it says it lists the interviews. The interviews are Chuck Dixon on page 22. 24 is Mike Barron. Dean Cain also interviewed in here on page 26. Then we get to meet the staff, Marcos Rios on page 76. But don't worry, because we're going to go back in time, because Rippaverse previews start on page 42. How the fuck do you get the index wrong? It's so simple. You just list the things as they appear in the book from first page to last. You don't jumble them around. That's not how people read a table of contents. It's literally from the first page to the last page. How is that so hard? How do you fuck up the simplest thing to do in the book to tell people what pages the things appear on? So the artist corner, sad. I looked at this and I almost wept. Okay, because Igor's art is featured on this. It's art of Alphacorn, and it is leagues better than anything Deborah Carita made for Yaira. The art that is shown off here.
He's very underutilized in the Rippaverse. They always make him draw, just Yaira with different faces all the time.
No, this art that he did, it's not the like caricature art that he does for like the like, oh look, we just hit 1 million, like he does that art. This is like real comic book art. This is like a single panel of comic book art, and it is better than like I'd say 60% of all the art I've seen in the Rippaverse. Like if you would just get Igor, let Igor draw a book, because this shit is good art. I don't know why he's wasting his time drawing. Oh my god, we just hit 1 million. Here's a picture.
Hamsters and pigeons. That's what they make him draw.
He goes over his process from the pencils to the the scribbles, doing it digitally. If you're an artist, if you're into like art and how it's made, it's definitely something you might be interested in. Like I said, it's really good looking, and I'm just flabbergasted that they don't utilize him to actually draw a book. I would be pissed. I'm not even gonna lie. Like if I was Igor, I'd be like, "What the fuck, dudes? Like, why do you keep hiring these people? These Deborah Caritas and shit. I'm here. You know me. I work for you. Why are you hiring outside people to draw your books?" All right. That leads us to what we all came for, the big draw of the Rippazine, right? Salvage, PI. Written by Eric July. The art done by Bart Sears. The art is really good. I'll give it that. Bart Sears knocks it out of the park. There's only like one panel that I would say
no
a little wonky.
3D asset backgrounds, no Brazil workers, all start finished.
No, this is all like he drew this by hand. You can just tell. Like, and the colorist, they got Jay Brown. I don't know who he is. I don't know who Jay Brown is, but he again did a great job. I'm assuming because there's no inker listed, so I'm assuming Bart does his own inks, right?
Yeah,
I think that's a safe
probably
assumption.
That's good. Yeah.
So the inker, there's no inker listed, so I'm assuming he did his own. It looks great. Now, just from the there's like a little description. For some reason, instead of just letting me read the comic, they got to give me a little fucking blurb to tell me what the comic that I'm going to read is about. It's a 13-page comic that doesn't end. This is not a complete story. In 13 pages. It's going to tell you right there. Also, like I said at the beginning, Scooby-Doo is a more complicated story. Any of those episodes, Old Man Carruthers trying to trick the town into thinking there's a ghost at the old amusement park so he can develop the land to get the oil that's been hidden for like the last 30 years because his partner didn't want to sell to some mega corporation. That's more complicated than what is presented here in this book. Okay. Let me read you the little blurb. Let me set the stage for all you. It says the affluent city of Florespark, Texas, is not bereft of crime, and the threat of criminals possessing X-Step abilities is a very real one. But not all crimes are caused by giant walking, talking barbecues or denizens of the underworld. And for cases that don't call for flying super cops or super-powered vigilantes to be solved, there's one man whom private citizens can go to who always has his ear. Now, ear is highlighted. And when people saw this the first time, they were confused, right? They were confused why ear was bolded. There's a reason. There's a very specific reason. If you read the comic, which I'm going to go through, you're going to know why. That's Eric July's little wink, wink. Pay attention. Bolded ear. Now to the streets. Salvage, PI. A marked increase in the theft of luxury goods smells like corporate sabotage. And Salvage sounds like the man for the job. But has this private investigator got in over his head? Dum, dum, dum. Earthmind has figured it out. It's a private eye with a super ear. Yes. He has super hearing. They make it a point to show his ear up close. So if you're into ears, if you got an ear fetish, this is the comic for you, buddy.
Oh, no.
Because they zoom in on that ear several panels.
I imagine he can turn that on and off because that with a gunfight would be awful.
Well, he closes his eyes whenever his super hearing is active, so I don't know if it's a.
Also, my mom would say that is the Bionic Woman, so I will acknowledge that that's the Bionic Woman. One of the things she can do.
Dun, 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 dun. All right, so the story is basically here's the basics of the story. There's a trucking company that is having its trucks hit. Right, they're being stolen. It's like Fast and the Furious. Truckers are getting robbed. So presumably, I would assume that the guy who goes to Salvage owns the trucking company or works for this trucking company in some capacity because he hires Salvage to investigate the crime. And in a shocking move of just excellent writing, Salvage figures out that the company that is going through a recession, the company that's laying people off, they're the ones responsible. I don't know how he come to this conclusion. It's not really clear other than, well, there's a company, and that company is laying off workers for the first time in a long time. I better go talk to them. The leap in logic that Salvage had to make to get to that conclusion, guys. Also, Texas, Florespark is a city-state. And Salvage was able to get a license to defend or some shit. It's not a license to kill. He just can use lethal force if he's in a situation that calls for it. So apparently the cops are allowing you to just get permits to kill people. So that's great. So he goes to the company, and he talks to one guy, and he tells this guy, "Hey, seems like you guys are getting robbed a lot. You know, seems like there's a lot of robberies in the trucking industry." And the guy goes, "Yeah, we got contingencies in case something happens." And at that point, Salvage knows he's the bad guy. And how does he know this? Because the bad guy, he hits a button, and that alerts security waiting for Salvage in the basement. And Salvage figures this out based on absolutely nothing. Salvage just goes, "Hey, you hit a button on your briefcase, and you also took us to a floor that needed a hand scanner in order to access. That must mean you're the bad guy." And then he uses his super hearing to hear the bad guys all the way in the basement. They're like on, I'm assuming, the top floor, because when they show the panel, the outside of the building, they're showing like the top part. So we could assume he's on one of the upper floors. So from the upper floors, his hearing is so good that he can hear all the way to the basement. There's no one else apparently talking in the building, and he hears them going, they're on their way. He doesn't even hear them go, "Guys, get your guns. We're going to shoot Salvage when he gets off the elevator." That would be like, okay, that's a reason to be alarmed, right? They're on their way. For all he knows, it could have been a guy waiting to give him blowjobs, right? I pushed the blowjob button, and when we get to the basement, we're going to get blowjobs, right? There's literally no indication as to why Salvage would be afraid for his life. But the elevator gets to the basement. It dings. He beats up the guy. We don't even get to see it, but apparently he beat up the guy. The elevator doesn't even go all the way to the basement in one long, unbroken chain. No, apparently it stopped on the first floor to allow Salvage to get out of the elevator and make his escape. And then apparently it takes 20, 30 minutes. I don't even know how long, because Salvage is already out the door before the elevator hits the basement and the guys realize that he's getting away. They don't even show him running to the car. He's just pimp walking to the car. He pimp walks to his Cadillac and he drives off, and he's like, "They're going to follow me because they want me dead." Goes to this building. And again, this might be the colorist problem, because I think the building's supposed to be completely dark, but everything is so bright. I think they over brightened the scene. So it doesn't appear that they're in the dark. It appears that there's just like low light, which makes no sense because no one seems to know what the going on. So that's why I'm assuming it was supposed to be like pitch black, but it's lightened up for our benefit. Salvage throws his head at a guy like he's odd job, whacks this guy in the face, pops out of his hidey hole, starts shooting. Right now, there's at least 15 bad guys in this building that are looking to kill Salvage. He starts shooting away. Not a single fucking bad guy shoots back. Guys, these are the most incompetent henchmen ever. Salvage is shooting at them, doesn't shoot back. Then he uses his super hearing to hear which way they're going, so he can keep popping out and like shooting them, take pot shots at them, and kill them all. He then throws a guy through a mysterious glass. Apparently I don't know if this is the outside of the building or just like a little partition to like something that's in the building, like another section. But he throws a guy through the glass, hits another guy, shoots some guys behind him, stops, does a backflip. Salvage does a fucking backflip. He's a gymnast, guys. Okay? Like he's running away.
Private Eye and the gymnast. Wow.
Sees somebody, does a fucking backflip like it's a Mortal Kombat. Gets up, he's like, who the hell? Points his gun at a ninja guy. And that's it. That's the end of the no more. It is filled with 13 pages. Okay, 13 pages. And it's filled with overcomplicated language. It's filled with things that make no sense. The pacing, the scripting, everything is retarded. Okay, and I'm not saying that to be mean. Like I said, Bart Sears art fantastic. Jay Brown coloring is good, except for like I said, the lighting in that one scene seemed really wrong. Right?
Maybe he got the wrong instructions or something wrong with the script.
Yeah. So to get in more depth, okay, so the ninja guy shows up at the very beginning. He robs this truck, right? He robs this truck by he jumps on it, and then the guy freaks out and accidentally crashes into a telephone pole. Then he jump kicks the door open, and then a bunch of like goons like steal whatever in it, right? But so then we get the guy who hired Salvage, and he's talking to Salvage. And I was telling this to TJ before, right? So we get this whole like conversation, and it ends with Salvage getting up, right? It's like this dramatic Salvage is getting up. He's like, I already looked it over. I have a lead, but I'd like to look my clients in the eyes. And he's like standing up. He's like, okay, man, Salvage is about to do something badass. The next panel, Salvage is sitting back down at his computer doing computer work. Like there's no sense of urgency. Like you think it makes it look like he's ready to go and do the thing. He's ready to do the investigating thing. But no, he's sitting back at the computer. So he does the computer thing. And then we see him get up again. He gets his hat, gets his jacket off of the little, coat rack. He's like, why don't we pay them a visit? Right, so he's on the way. He's got to pay. The action's starting, guys. He's on his way to pay the visit to the bad guy's lair. Days later is the next panel. There's no sense of urgency. Why are you showing Salvage learning things, going through the computer, deciding to go talk to some guys, show him dramatically walk out the door, to then go days later? What did Salvage do between the, between deciding to go talk to people and making it to the building? Was he like, did he have errands to run? Salvage like, oh man, I can't go during the weekday because parking's too expensive. I got to wait till the weekend when it's cheaper. There's free parking on Saturdays, so I just go then. Like things like that make no sense. And again, let me read you this line. Okay, let me exposit for a minute. He was napping, says Robco. Says William Scotcher, Chief Operations Officer for Vit Ford Trucking. They are being targeted. Tens of millions of dollars worth of goods have been intercepted. They only deal with high-value loads, and this has lowered trust with other companies. I don't see how that matters. So the trucking company only deals with high-value goods, so this has lower trust with other companies. How's that? And also, this company, guys, this company that deals with only high-value goods, that has tens of millions of dollars worth of goods being robbed. Their security is one fat truck driver. The truck is just a standard truck. They're shipping millions of dollars worth of goods in just we're in a fictional universe, comic book universe. You would think that, oh man, these are a truck with high tech doors, right? Like they show the guys trying to get into the doors
with accepts running around, right?
Yeah, like like all the doors are magnetically sealed, so that it's a good thing we brought an Accept because he can kick the door, the magnetic seals off or something, right? Or like they ripped the truck in half to get into the goods, right? Because all the booby traps or whatever, there's security in the truck, so they had to fight. No, it's just a truck driver. He's hauling millions. The trucks have been getting robbed. This is worse than in Fast and Furious. The truck drivers had guns, right? Like they got like, oh shit, Dom, we can't rob trucks anymore because the truck drivers are like carrying shotguns and shooting people now, right? Like
they have to come up with elaborate plans to do the heist.
Yeah, in this they're just like, yeah, we'll just let it go. It'll take care of itself. It'll be perfectly fine. So yeah, Salvage, not good. And again, it ends with us knowing nothing about the ninja guy. I don't know any of his powers. Salvage, I guess he has super hearing, and
I would die laughing if he's actually an XM, but just with hearing.
And again, we really, there's no like mystery, there's no like intrigue. I'm not like, oh man, I really want to know why they're doing this, right? Just bad, just bad writing. If Salvage PI was being sold, I wouldn't recommend buying it. Like if he's like, oh man, I'm gonna do a full book. Please don't make me buy it. I would blow my brains out. Blow my brains out. Terrible book. Terrible. All right. So we'll skip the interviews, and so the Saskas actually interviewed Chuck Dixon, which is weird. I find it weird that the Saskas are the ones doing the interview with Chuck Dixon, and they interview Mike Barron, and they interview Dean Cain. No, but I'm saying, why would the Saskas interview anybody? Like,
it's almost like as if they own the Rippaverse.
Yeah, Eric July should be doing the interview, or it should be like the guy who writes the articles on the website should be doing the interviews. Like, who the fuck are the Saskas? No, but there's a guy who writes articles on the Rippaverse.
Yeah, website. I just thought you were talking about a video. I was like, that's weird. He interviewed the other ones.
These are the written. So there's also an ad for Dean Cain, All-American Lawman. So he's finally advertising for Gabe El Taib's book. My guess is that there's going to be a Dean Cain comic, or that All-American Lawman is going to go through Rippazine. I'm guessing.
Rippazine, You know what I'm saying? That vomit love. You know what I'm saying? Sylvie.
They got the Florespark Gazette. So that's this section of the magazine is like its own mini magazine within it, I guess. So it's got Alpha Core under fire. Lillian Renoshi serves up the scorching hot tea. Trouble ahead for Aries, Cancer, and more in Blood Roots horoscope. Plus the hottest drinks, recipes, and more. Plus Michael Copper, latest starlet fling and how to land the next one. Oh, we got some dating advice in this book for you.
Hey,
so there's a horoscope. Yeah.
I would say, but I'm an Aries, so that means trouble. So.
Okay. Maybe I'm retarded. Hold on. Let me see. Could be the drinks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. There's only 10 horoscopes in here.
Shouldn't there be 12?
Oh, just 10?
Yeah. Which one am I missing? I got Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn. That's 10, right? I did count that correctly, right?
Yeah. There's no Aquarius and no Aquarius and no Pisces.
Aquarius and Pisces, that's what's missing. Yes.
I'm a Pisces. My horoscope's not in here. Why is it? How could they skip?
They did you dirty, Tony.
Yeah, they knew. They're like, when's Tony born? I would laugh if Aquarius was Riley's and Pisces, because Pisces mine.
Oh.
You don't get one.
It's a secret code. You don't get a horoscope.
Yeah, they were pointing out Aquarius and no Pisces. People already had it in chat.
I don't know how I missed the fact that's mine. That's how drunk I am. I didn't even realize mine was the one missing.
That's how bad Yaira and the Rippazine rotted your brain.
Gotta be Ultramac for that, Zombie Boy, in order to get the other two. Yeah, it is weird.
That's something that you can tag him on Twitter and ask where the other 2 horoscopes are.
Maybe there's only 10. Texas outlawed. There's only 10 months in Texas. That's got to be a mistake, because there's a picture of Blood Roots in there, and I feel like that's the room that the 2 other horoscopes would have been in.
Are they like? Would it be like a layering issue? Is she covering them up? That'd be funny.
No, there's just nothing. There's nothing there. But if you look, like Aries is really small, right? And then Taurus is huge, like as far as the amount of words for the horoscope. Like they're not all even. They're not all like say like 3 lines. It's like this one's like 4 lines, and then this one's like 12 lines, and then this one's like 15 lines, and then this one's like 4. So like some horoscopes are like way more in depth.
Sounds like Chat
Like-
GPT. I'm with you straight.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Chat GPT, because otherwise, like, do they list like who wrote these? Do they copy them from somebody else, or how does this work?
For some reason,
don't
yeah, it
have-
does sound like Eric July.
They don't have clairvoyance. Yeah, all of these are Eric July horoscopes too.
Julyisms.
But like, how'd this work? They don't have clairvoyance working at the Rippaverse, except maybe the Saskas.
What it is
Oh, it's Bloodruth. Bloodruth wrote these. All right. So then we got Lillian's Hot Tea. Oh, man. It says, welcome to Florespark, where there are secrets to be told. Oh, man, we're going to get secrets. We're actually going to get some information about the characters, guys, for the first time ever. If you want to be in the know, you have come to the right place. As a lady who travels the most exclusive circles, I've come to learn a few things about this place and the people within it. Pull up a seat and let us chat a while. Why does every character sound the same? Like, this doesn't sound like it's from the point of view of Lillian. It just sounds exactly like the horoscope writer.
Because Eric wrote it, or whoever the intern wrote it all in a day for lunch.
It looks like Brian Solari's technical blunder has landed him and the Alpha Corps in hot water with his superiors in the Florespark Police Department. How dreadful that his incompetence cost the life of a fellow dedicated officer. Such a shame. That's exactly what happened. You're not telling me anything that I didn't read in Alpha Corps. Everything here is
not.
just everything that's happened in the books. Just tried to like framed in a gossipy way.
So besides Salvage, there's no reason to read this book.
No.
At least it's only $5.
Well, actually, you know what? Let's maybe Copper's Club. Hello, gentlemen of Florespark. He's going to show you how to get a sexy lady like him.
Oh boy.
Think of it like an interview. You're not replacing your friends. You're holding an audition for a potential mate. She needs to fit into your life. What does that look like? It says the more you pay for dinner, the hotter she will look. I didn't know this. I didn't realize that the more money dinner costs, like her looks just improve. Like you buy her a burger, she's like a 5.
No,
Maybe
Like,
that's what
here's a
Gargastic
steak.
was thinking the whole time when he married Miss Piggy.
I get what he means, but yeah.
He's like, do you know how much food I give her? She must be like a 12 by now. Dump her via text. Does she have a sister? Everyone loves a bad boy. Don't be yourself. Always wear a suit. Make it about you.
Slow down. Slow down, Tony. I'm trying to write these down. Continue.
Oh man, this is retarded. That's it. It's got little blurbs, but they're like retarded. Like always
So it's
wear
like
a suit.
because he's a villain, it's the opposite.
Yeah, but always wear a suit is like a business that pads its prices. How you look determines which class of woman will approach you. Have a variety of suits and always have them tailored. That's
Suit yourself.
all right. But at least there's a recipe, guys. So I don't know who the fuck Harriet is, but she has a kitchen. Is that Avery's mom's name? Anyone
Or
remember?
Avery's mom's the friend, right? Or,
No, the friend is Mrs. Newman.
yes. I know, but is it Miss Newman's her last
This is
name?
Harriet Newman? I don't know.
Must be.
It has to be.
Food can turn around any day, as I know well. Here's a flexible recipe to cheer people up. I hope someone tries this and gets sick and sues the Rippazine. Adjust the ingredients as you prefer. If you're a meat lover, use more meat. If you enjoy a hearty chili, emphasize those ingredients. So first off, let me just stress this really, really strongly. If you're going to put a recipe in a book, you should probably put the name of the recipe. It should be Harriet's Kitchen is the section. It should be Harriet's Kick-Ass Chili, Harriet's deep fried chicken. You just don't start listing off ingredients.
Yeah,
I
because
guess
then
it's
like
chili.
yeah. 'Cause you have to kind of have it in mind of what people will know to look for. Am I making a sandwich? You know, like
Yeah. Also, I hope, I pray that someone looks this up. Now, I'm gonna check tomorrow because I don't got time right now, obviously. But
Yeah.
I would laugh my ass off if they plagiarized this recipe, because recipes are still protected. If you write a cookbook, it's a published work, and that recipe is copyrighted. So this is what happens when you give the witches a Chat GPT subscription. Yeah. All right. Like I said earlier, we went over the Projex's secure documents character spotlight already, and how retarded that was. But then we get a Gooding, the polymath preview, right? So all the comics, Isom 2, Alpha Core, and Yaira, they all have previews with several pages of the comic. And it's like the first 5 or 6 pages of the comic, right, of each issue. However, there's a Gooding, Horseman, a Bloodruth, all have a little preview page, but no actual preview images from the comics. I am 100% convinced that they are not finished. They're not ready to go. That's how he did with Yaira. Remember, he had no stuff to show. There's nothing. There's not a single image, not even a rough, not even a sketch, not even a pencils. It's just a little blurb about those 3 comics, which is weird. That how are you going to preview the comics and then have 3 that have the identical, because they all have a 1-page like synopsis, and then it's previews like Isom 1-page synopsis, then preview images, then Isom 2 1-page synopsis, preview images, right? Alpha Core 1-page synopsis, preview images, but then Bloodruth, Horseman, and Gooding have the 1-page synopsis thing, but no images, which is weird. Horseman's going to be violent, street level tale. Brought to you by the Alpha Core legend, Chuck Dixon.
Legendary.
Then we got,
Chuck Dixon.
and none of this shit answers any questions. It's just the same like bullshit. It's a comic about a guy who's fighting on the streets. Chuck Dixon. Bloodruth. The Saskas are doing this comic about Bloodruth. Who is she? We don't know. Buy the comic. That's all coming in 2024. So why would you have, like, this would be a good chance, right? Like, to have those 3 comics that aren't out yet, that no one's read, and say, hey, here we're gonna have previews. We're gonna have like 3 or 4 pages from Bloodruth, 3 or 4 from Horseman, 3 or 4 from Gooding. Get people excited for the next stuff. Why would you have preview pages for the 4 books that are already out? No one is buying the Rippazine, right? That hasn't already bought those comics, right? Maybe they bought one. Maybe someone didn't buy like a Alpha Core, but they bought the other 2, right? And they probably, if they didn't buy Alpha Core, they've already jumped off the train, so they're not buying Rippazine. So again, there's a $7 Rippazine with previews for comics you already own. Then we got Meet the Staff, Marcos Rios. It's just a little, like, he doesn't get interviewed. See, this is what's weird about this, right? Staskas, they interviewed Chuck Dixon, Dean Cain, Mike Barron. Marcos Rios, he gets a Meet the Staff thing, but no interview. Like, he doesn't get to talk to the Saskas, I guess. Then they got advertisements for merchandise you can buy. Suit up with the Alpha Core. Order your Alpha Core #1, Art of Joe Bennett, and more. It's time to catch street. Dive into the first 2 parts of the ill-advised arc. No ad for any Yaira merch, though. Weird. And then, guys, this is what you all been waiting for. This is the real reason to buy the Rippazine. There's a 1-page comic. It's called A Bird's Eye View. It's author Andrew Rodriguez, artist Marcos Rios.
Oh, wow.
Remember the pigeon from Alpha Core's trailer?
Oh,
Dear
no.
God.
We got the comic. We got the pigeon comic, buddy. The
All
pigeon
this
is actually
building up.
delivering. It's delivering a Rippazine something. So it's got a Rippa package, and you get to see on the side it says, "You were told not to come back," in the distance as the pigeon is flying with the package, and says, the pigeon's thoughts we can hear. What sort of lousy bad seed throws ice without looking? Because the ice almost hit the pigeon. Their destruction shall be swift as the north wind, their justice delivered on the wing. Cluttering my skyway with the nonsense, the nerve. And then the pigeon dives. Migrate elsewhere, you wingless buffoons. talented flyers, but still wingless buffoons. And it dropped the Ripper package. And the Ripper package says Bloodruth #1 coming soon. That was what was in the Ripper package. So now we know what the bird was doing. It was delivering Bloodruth #1 announcement.
I don't think that needed. It would have been fine if it was without the bird's weird narration. It didn't need that.
It would have been fine if it was funny. Even the weird narration could have worked if it was like funny or quippy.
If it was like, what it is I got to get this package over. I don't want to have a late book like them CG people. And then,
but it doesn't even like the pigeon doesn't even address the package it's holding. It looks like it's gonna like attack Brian's crotch, and like they don't notice the bird's there. It's really weird. This looks exactly like something Andrew would have written. So come on, Eric, I've been stroking your cock for like an hour.
It's his
Please
humor.
write a comic.
Yeah. Him with his NDAs and pigeons.
And unfunny jokes.
But the art's good. And again, this needs to get scanned, and then we could like redo the balloons. I'm sure we can come up with a lot better
Caption contest.
Yeah. Then of course the Rippazine gets a nice ad at the back. It's the inside back cover. Services offered: general consulting, campaign hosting, publishing, storefront, and fulfillment. Find out more by visiting Rippazine.com. Guys, I understand he's trying to push Rippazine, right? But what do you think the percentage of people buying the Rippazine are people that would be looking to use Rippazine?
Or unaware of its existence.
No, forget the unaware. Like, you might be aware, but like, like it's like if I bought a magazine about soap operas, right? A soap opera magazine. And then there was like a monster truck ad in there. Like, what do you think the percentage of people buying soap opera magazines that are also interested in monster trucks, right? Like, probably pretty low. Like, I'm sure there's a few people buying the Rippazine that are comic creators or people looking to like ship books or something, right? But I imagine that's got to be a pretty low percentage. Like, I don't think someone's like, man,
not just any comic book creators, just the ones Eric July likes, the ones who follow the criteria.
You don't understand. The pigeon is a fan favorite. Yeah, pigeon was trying to take it to the garbage. Waste of $7, but I have it. At least it came in a nice little. It is a magazine, but it is comic book sized. Okay, so it fits in a comic book sleeve back and board. And it's rated teen. The Rippazine is actually rated teen. It says it on the little barcode that I got for it.
They should do a kids book where they got like spot the difference and connect the thing.
That's what it should. The paper is really nice though. Actually, it is. The paper is really. It's not magazine paper. It's like more of a thicker. Not quite cardboardy. It's not as thick as the Lunga paper. It's like maybe two notches down from the Lunga paper, which was stiff as. But it's a thick paper. But again, what you're saying, Wizard, makes sense. This Rippazine, like again, think, Eric. You got people buying this Rippazine. Get their kids into it. Be like, oh man, look, there's a nice little crossword puzzle in there. There's a help Isom find Jasmine maze in there, right?
Yeah,
because then you get like, hey kids, look at you.
Especially because this is free for $5 max, so it's like do something cheaper, shorter, and kiddier, and then you can include it with purchases.
And again, like if these articles, like the horoscopes, this is what frustrates me about this whole endeavor, right? Like the horoscopes could have been really funny, like comic centric, right? Because you live in this world of comic books. They're supposed to be from the perspective of the mysterious Sydney Bloodruth, right? So it could be like, oh, watch out for there's Aries, hell monkeys are in your future. beware of mysterious portals to another dimension, right? Like
Yeah.
weird shit that
Play it up.
No, it's just like watch out for backstabbers.
Oh, watch out
Yeah.
for
Rubber
duck.
duckies. Like, oh, man, that's great.
Yeah, like
Same
trying to
thing
do
with
it
the-
like they trying to do it legit, but also gimmicked at the same time, and it's like, no.
Rated T for trash. Am I right, fellas? You're right. Yeah, they could have done this in a more tongue-in-cheek way that would have been more interesting, more entertaining. The Salvage story, not good. The art's good. Bart Sears knocks it out. Horoscopes, trash. The gossip, trash. Again, even the gossip shit, right? Like, you could have been like, word on the
That's
street is that
more.
Brian Solari wears boxers, not briefs, right? Like stupid shit. But like,
if only there would be some type of relationship with Brian Solari and another famous except that people would write a gossip column about, like one that happened to kiss him floating in space, like went to his house.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah,
Take
what
a
are
big
these
Was
rumors
watching him
about?
working out?
Yeah, what are these rumors about Yaira and Brian Solari? Are they true? Right?
Yeah,
like something like
something different. Like, show your universe from a different lens. That's like the most fun with writing, especially writing fan fiction, is just being like, what if we work within the bounds and rules of the universe, but do something crazy and fun? And you could do that.
And again, this is like Lillian Runashi's gossip column or some shit, right? She's a bad guy. So you would think that she would be writing things like smear. Braxwell has a secret fetish for like women's underwear. Like, you'd be like, oh, this is funny. Like, it's not true because he's a villain and she's trying to like smear them through her little gossip column in this in-universe magazine.
Brian Solari still sleeps with his blanket from when he was 8 years, when he was a kid or something.
Yeah.
And then
you might not be aware. What are the rumors? But is it true that Ingrid Valdez is scared of dogs? Like really stupid shit, but like funny that you're like, oh, this isn't true. Maybe it is true. And then
Braxwell used to be a gingered guy, but he was actually replaced. Like a meta joke like that would have been funny.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much, like, you go, oh, this has potential, and then you read it and you go, wow, it's just so wasted. Why does the whole Detractor verse have better ideas about Eric's products than Eric and his employees? Because most of this shit is dictated probably by Eric, and everyone's just like, whatever you say, boss. Like, no one wants to go, hey, wouldn't it be fun
nobody's
if
there
we did
to
this
challenge
thing?
him.
Yeah.
Nobody's there to
just
give
like, I don't
him
care,
better
make me
ideas.
money.
Like, yeah, that's the problem.
Well, because it'll make money regardless.
Fun things.
No, what it is if we put effort, we're going to make the same amount of money as if we didn't put effort. So why would we bother putting effort into this?
True. Sturgis is buying.
Have the intern sit on ChatGPT for an hour and come up with a book.
Yeah, like I said, again, could you imagine how fun it would have been? A little maze with Isom and Jasmine. Isom hasn't found Jasmine, but you can help him, and then like follow him through the maze.
It's been great. A little meta joke. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't do that. All his meta jokes are made up by them. It's the NDA and the pigeon and not funny.
Look at the hamsters. The hamsters, they broke our website.
Like, you know what would have been Eric? You would earn all my respect. Rippazine 2. You know how you can get in those little kid activity books 3D glasses, right? And then a page of spot the 3D assets. So you got to put the glasses on and you got to look at the 3D assets. And it would be like, come on. Like, you sell the thing, you sell the shirt already. Make fun of yourself. That's what would be funny. Show a sense of humor.
Hell, you could have did like, the pigeon gets hit with ice and like, oh shit, the pigeon now becomes Pigeon Ura and like he has an adventure, like how Marvel has all the like animal characters. Do something stupid.
Or
or shit, the pigeon turned into Dakuman. That would have been cool. Like, oh shit, the pigeon was Dakuman the whole time. We were right.
We all thought the pigeon was Dakuman.
Rippazine 3 comes with bunny stickers. Like, come on.
There's no fun at the sandbox.
No fun in the sandbox. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
no, It's all product.
Even with you could add. You know what they could have did? You could have took 2 pictures of Isom because again, this would have been a meta joke. It would have been a joke at our expense. You could have took 2 pictures of Isom from the covers and like spot the difference because we're always saying how Isom looks different in every panel. Like, look, here's like 2 panels. Spot the difference between Isom.
Like on February Rippazine, Lucifer Valentine's Day cards. I mean, come on.
They ain't listening. They don't want to hear. They ain't listening. If the pigeon was Nakamine and it came with Rippa Bunny stickers, it would make so much money. Yeah. So much potential. So much potential. Also, it would have been nice. You could have used the Rippazine to like, hey, you know those characters that we just barely showed, like Billy Bob or Quinn or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
You could have spotlighted him. Like, these are the villains that were in the other comic. Chadron. Who is Chadron? The mysterious Chadron secrets revealed in Rippazine, right?
Billy Bob Quinn's secret barbecue recipe.
Yeah, see, even that, like, instead of Harry, who the fuck is Harry? Like, BBQ's recipes, right?